We continue in our series of recipes that applied indeed to people who are undertaking chemotherapy, radiation therapy, or suffering whatever effect happens negative from cancer. This particular recipe is inspired mostly from Latin America, in where black beans or beans in general are an intrinsic part of their diet. What attracts me with regard to cancer is that beans, in particular black beans, are very rich in protein, number one. Number two is that they have on the outside a sugar called galactose, which basically is not absorbable in humans. And the consequence of that is, as you know, a lot of people complain whenever they eat beans, they get sick in their stomach, is because as not being absorbed, had the tendency to produce gas and pass on easily. So this is actually aimed into the preservation of the nutrition by the amount of protein or carbohydrates in it, as well as the normal bowel function when constipation is an issue. Now, again, my point is that we always try to come up with these recipes that are very inexpensive, that can be found anywhere, and that anybody can in actuality cook. I always say, well, there was a movie, Ratatouille, there was a rat that was cooking, so if a rat can cook, why couldn't you do that as well? So, very easy. I have a can of black beans that I have bought in the supermarket. Very simple, very inexpensive. I have a can of salsa, which is a tomato-based salsa which contains a little bit of pepper to it. And typically in the commercial preparation, it has a little fractions or sections of jalapeno pepper to it. Then I have salt for tasting, and I have olive oil, which on top of everything is going to help me with my bowel function. And finally, I have an onion that will serve as a flavor enhancer as well. Just for the purposes of decoration, I have a little bit of lavender. So the process is very simple. First of all, I'm going to blanch or fry the slice of the onion. Then I'm going to add to that the beans, and then I'm going to basically pan fry dehydrated, and then I'm going to take it to the refrigerator. I'm going to leave it all the night, and it's going to become harder, and then I'm going to plate it tomorrow. So very simple and very easy. You don't need large amounts of onion to do this. I'm just going to get a ring. And of course, remember, no skin on it. And I'm going to just chop it grossly. And then I'm going to take this with me to the stove. And I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to fry the onions. I'm incorporating the black beans into the frying pan, and I'm mixing it all up. And these will go through a process of approximately 5 to 10 minutes, depending upon the intensity of the fire that you're using, and in essence will become a dehydrated dough, which in essence translates into this item. So this had become a thick paste. So I'm taking this out of the fire, and I'm going to go ahead and take it to my refrigerator and let it sit. So this has been sitting on my refrigerator overnight and has formed a beautiful dough. And very simple, what I'm going to do from here on is that I'm going to use my knife and I'm just going to cut it in sections. And I'm going to transfer these sections to my plated product. And as you can see, what I have done is that I basically added my greens, I have put my product, and I have added to that my tomato-based chili pepper. Again, the whole purposes for this recipe is the concept of nutrition as it regards to protein and carbohydrates, but more importantly, the concept of the easiness in bowel function that pertains not only to that protein, but the presence of this carbohydrate called galactose that you cannot digest. So again, a lot of thought process in trying to develop these recipes for you. I certainly insist to you the fact that this is easy to do, and I emphasize the concept that this is done for your quality of life and your betternness. So I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I had. This recipe uses as the main product black beans, indigenous indeed from Latin America, applied mostly to patients who have difficulty with bowel function during therapy with cancer. Very easy to obtain and very inexpensive. Black beans not only are rich in protein, in carbohydrates, but they do have the ability to make the bowel function better due to the lack of an enzyme that digests part of the protein on the skin of the bean. The recipe has a can of black beans. It has a can of salsa that is hot with the addition of a jalapeno pepper, has a olive oil, and it has onion and salt.